Hello and welcome to Odds on Champions League quarterfinals, second leg, great 4 games to analyze with Ronan Murphy, with Alain Valnegri. We have 4 big favorites to qualify for the semifinals, and my first question before our show starts is if we are going to see any comeback in the 4 ties that are pretty much decided or one-sided at this moment in time. Ronan, do you see any comeback?
The Real Madrid, the goats are being slaughtered right as we speak, so they can come back. But I think there's only one match we can see a possible comeback in, really, isn't there?
Yes, the probability is in Milano, the highest probability. But and in the past we have Inter Bayern with a comeback, but a reverse comeback, in the sense of the first leg was playing in Milano and the second in Munich, and Inter reversed the situation after a brilliant game. Maybe is time to take a revenge for Bayern.
Yeah, these teams have a history in common. Actually, Inter and Bayern, apart from the final, and is winning away when they face each other. So let's see if we see some surprises this week. Let me know in the comments if you think we are going to see any comeback these days. And of course, press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And the first one is Aston Villa PSG, and I'm telling you right now that the bookies don't believe in a comeback for Aston Villa. Actually, the odds are higher for Aston Villa to qualify with a 3-1 than Real Madrid to qualify with a 3-0, despite taking the lead at the Parc des Princes. But this PSG is looking really sharp. One of the favorites to win the title together with Barcelona, Alain Valnegri, probably the best team in Europe together with Barcelona. And of course, we have to highlight, I think, the addition of 𝐿𝐵 this winter transfer window. What a goal and what an impact. It's not easy to arrive in a club like PSG in the middle of the season and make this impact.
Yes, Luis Enrique found his 11th start with 𝐬𝐵 had something more in the wing. Dembélé is key in that improvement, and Désiré Doué is playing a really high level right now. But the key is the midfield. The midfield of Paris Saint-Germain is the key. Since Luis Enrique found that trio Neves with Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz, I think it is really balanced midfield that have powder to manage the time, to manage the technical value are really, really high. And after, when do you have that type of striker, it's a pleasure to see playing Paris Saint-Germain. They're dominant in the first leg against Aston Villa, but they waited the extra time in the 90s to win with 2 goals difference. And the question is, Aston Villa, since the beginning of March, they lose only this game. At home is a really strong team. They lose only 2 games since the beginning of the season, one against Crystal Palace, but that they don't deserve to lose this game, and in the second journey in Premier League against Arsenal. After that, what means? It means Aston Villa known to play against the biggest team in Europe at home. Bayern lose in Villa Park. I don't choose 1x2 for this game, but I see goals because Aston Villa must to attack, must to take risk, and PSG with space are really dangerous. Over 2.75 goals, odds 1.80.
Okay, goals 1-2 for 𝐬𝐿𝐵. And Aston Villa to qualify 10.0, but even the odds for PSG to win, even if, as Alain said, this stadium is hard, 2.17, Ronan, not bad.
Yeah, I actually like to look at that, and that's one of my tips, I'm going to say, because all runs come to an end. Aston Villa are obviously unbeaten at home in 2025, but all runs come to an end because PSG away in 2025, 13 games in all competitions, 13 wins. They've scored 3 or more goals in 9 of those 13 wins. PSG on the road are fantastic. I know Aston Villa at home are pretty fantastic this season, but yeah, all runs must come to an end, and 𝐷𝗀𝐻𝐿 is back from suspension for PSG, so that should be a boost, obviously, in the back for them. Villa should have 𝐿eon back from injury, but 𝐿eon is quite inconsistent at times, so maybe he can get a goal here, and I do like Alain's tips that there will be goals in this one. I obviously think PSG can win this one, so PSG win. I'm going to tip at 2.17. There's been over 2.5 goals in 66% of Aston Villa's games. 70% of the time for PSG, there's been over 2.5 goals. So I agree with Alain. Total goals over 2.75 at 180 looks really good, but I think PSG are going to win this one. So, and I think there's going to be goals. So I think PSG are going to be one of the teams that score lots of goals. So PSG over 1.5 goals is my main tip for this.
Okay, trust, of course, full trust on PSG. As I said at the beginning, together with Barcelona, the favorites to win the title at this stage of the season. Both teams to score an over 2.5 goals for limited benefits. And remember also, PSG rested at the weekend. Ligue 1 gave them the weekend off just to prepare this game. Do not underestimate Unai Emery. He's a good tactician in European games. Indeed, I remember a huge surprise. For instance, Villarreal, Bayern Munich, and with Emery on the bench, knocking out Bayern Munich. But it's going to be very difficult. Even more difficult the next comeback. Dortmund, Barcelona, remember 4-0 at Montjuic. So to qualify, I was checking the odds for Dortmund. 51, so probably not even the most optimistic of the German fans are dreaming with qualification. They had their chances in the first half, but then Dortmund disappeared. The season has been poor. Ronan, I think we can say now that we are in the middle of April. Very disappointing after reaching the Champions League final last season. They were not up to the level.
No, definitely not. The only thing I think that could give them any sort of confidence at the moment is the fact that teams around them are above them in the Bundesliga are slipping up a bit. So there still is a slim opportunity that they could get in the Champions League that way. But yeah, they will not be getting into the Champions League by winning the Champions League this season. That 51 is too tempting even for the wildest dreams of Borussia Dortmund fans. And I think most Borussia Dortmund fans are kind of realistic that their team is hopeless at times this season, and they were hopeless in the first leg. Barcelona are 99.4% chance on the Opta supercomputer to make the semi-finals. They are 54.7 to win to reach the final, and 28.2 to win the whole thing. Opta think that Barcelona will win the Champions League this season, and yeah, I think they'll win this match too. 188 looks pretty good for that, because Borussia Dortmund are a team that lose games. That's what we've known them to do of late. Barcelona are a team that can score lots of goals, but Dortmund have had 4 or more total match goals in each of their last 4 matches. Both teams to score, yes, looks like a good option here. 64% of the time against 60% of the time, but that's only 147. So I went for it as a tip in the first match, and it's the exact same odds here. Barcelona and both to win and both teams to score 250 again. It looked like Borussia Dortmund would score in the first leg. They had a great finish from Maxi Bayer ruled out for offside, which we shouldn't have been offside because Barcelona left Borussia Dortmund acres of space when they were winning so heavily at that time. But yeah, I think Borussia Dortmund can still score, and especially at home, but I think Barcelona will be too good for them. I also like the look of Rafinha to get involved in the goals. He has 19 goal involvements in the Champions League this season. That's 2 off the record. Cristiano Ronaldo has the record. Cristiano Ronaldo is also second, joined second with Lewandowski. The record was 21 in 2013-14. He got 17 goals and 4 assists. His 2015-16 season, he got 16 goals and 4 assists. And then Lewandowski in 2019-20 had 15 goals and 5 assists. But Rafinha is a bit more all-around for the goals in Barcelona. He has 12 goals and 7 assists so far in the Champions League this season. He's obviously had the benefit of those 2 extra games in the league phase, but I think he can get a goal or an assist again in this one, and that's 173.
Well, the big question mark is if the teams are going to take seriously this game, since this is almost a friendly game. Perhaps Flick is going to rest some players, Alain, because, yeah, there is no option to see at a game like the one at Anfield or at the 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐴. Remember these nightmares in the recent past of Barcelona, but this is almost impossible, I would say, for Dortmund.
Yes, and in Anfield too, past the same, quite similar things. Yes, but Barcelona is fighting for every competition right now. I think that the priority this week is the Liga and the next game in Liga, but is the priority to Dortmund too, because Dortmund next weekend they're played with Mönchengladbach, and is a key game for Champions League, because if Dortmund don't win the game against Mönchengladbach, it probably is the end to catch the Champions League spot. It's difficult, but there can have a small chance. Now, in that type of game, normally in the second legs, the team won 4-0 arrive with less motivation. I think Dortmund must to say sorry to his fans, because the game in Barcelona is not a game from a team qualifying for the quarter of final in Champions League. In the tactical way, 𝐬𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐽 do really strange things, and I was really surprised to don't understand how the team can correct that mistake, because when do you let the wing to Barcelona 1-1 or numerical inferiority to the wing is a suicide. And I think Barcelona won from the wing the game. And in the last game, we saw Dortmund play with 3 center-back. I think he will be reproduced. That, in my opinion, 𝐬𝐴𝐧𝐽 don't want to lose this game, and you have big chance to catch a positive results. For that reason, I choose double chance, 1x odds 2.03.
Okay, just to relax, first half over 1.5 goals for Bon Jovi and for limited benefits. If Dortmund try to attack, if we know how dangerous is Barcelona at the counter attack, probably they might have more problems in the semifinals against Inter, if Inter qualifies. Of course, we have on Wednesday Inter Bayern Munich. Inter to qualify at this moment is 1-3 and Bayern 3.4, but there is some history, as Alain was reminding us at the beginning of the video, between these two teams with comebacks away from home. But we saw a great Inter. We said it also in our previous video that be careful, we might see a surprise, because they had a great block, they know how to defend. Then we saw Barella as the regista, just controlling the game and very dangerous at the counter-attack. So it was a perfect display by Inter, Alain, and now I guess it's going to be the same. They just need to defend and go into the counter-attack. It's Bayern, the one that need to take risks. But we saw, for instance, last season at the Bernabeu also, how Bayern are able to cause problems and to come back away from home.
Yes, a team when a team have in his anthem the word crazy, like Inter, Pazza Inter is a crazy Inter, you can't choose 1 or x2, because the first leg was a brilliant game from Inter for a lot of reasons. First, I think the team was able to defend in a good block. The goalkeeper do a very good game, because Sommer do some important save, and especially the reaction, because when do you received the goal to a 1-1 from Bayern, normally team get down, and the Inter have that skills, no, to have the rebellion to won the game in Munich. Not a lot of team won in Munich in Champions League. It was 2 or 3 years, I think, Bayern don't lose a game in Munich. In spite of that, I wait a really open game. Bayern make us understand can control the game from the midfield and can create a lot of occasion. Inter now, I think, it is a team with a lot of maturity. Inter, because the last goal for Inzaghi is the Champions League, because he won Serie A, he won the Star Scudetto last season, he won Coppa Italia, he made a final. Now is the only things for Inzaghi is arrive again to the final, and the first leg was excellent. The second will be hardest in my opinion, and for that reason I choose Bayern over 5.5 shoot on the target during the game, odds 2.04.
Wow, that's a busy evening for Jan Sommer, and I don't trust a lot this goalkeeper. So if this bet comes true, Alain, I think Inter fans could be a little bit pessimistic about the final outcome. We have a lot of people praising Inter. Inter draw no bet, 1.99 for limited benefits. Inter have great squad depth, and they are really good at shutting down teams. Indeed, 1-1 also for 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, Ronan, after seeing 𝐬𝐭𝐵𝐻𝐿 this week and after seeing the whole season of Bayern, are they capable to win in San Siro? Because probably the whole season we only saw a great Bayern against 𝐬𝐵𝐻𝐿 in the Champions League, probably.
Yeah, I think they are capable of winning, but that's because they're capable of scoring goals usually in matches. And if they have 5.5 shots on target, I think Bayern should be confident they can get some goals. But we've seen Jan Sommer in the past. I know you're not super confident in him yourself, but Jan Sommer against Bayern Munich, even when he was in the Bundesliga, was kind of like a kryptonite for Bayern Munich, and he was a bit of that in the first leg. I think Bayern they're probably disappointed they didn't get more goals in that first leg because they were dominant for large parts. But credit to Inter, that's the way they set up. That's the way we knew they would set up, and their game plan worked perfectly for them, and they came away with the win. But yeah, can you do that again over 90 minutes? Will it work again? Is it going to be a case that Bayern Munich are kind of dominant in possession and dominant in the shots again, and they have some small boost in fitness? I know some of our commenters there are talking about injury problems. Pavlovic coming back kind of gives them an extra option in midfield, which I think can be a big difference maker for them. I think it gives them something different rather than having to rely on 𝐿𝐵𝐻𝐿 to do everything or Goretzka to run around the place like he usually does. So yeah, I think that they might be more composed if he does play in the match. They might have a more composed performance. They might wait to look for these breakthroughs and then get the wide players, Olise or Sané, Gnabry, to kind of come in and maybe make a difference there. And obviously Thomas Muller was involved in the goals again at the weekend, so I imagine him being the hero again here. But yeah, this one in the past, like Alain said, comebacks seem to be part of it, but also the most common result in this game in the past is a 2-0 win for Bayern Munich. So 2-0 would suit them perfectly. And teams have, I know Inter are very good at the back, but teams have scored twice against them in 2025. 4 different teams, AC Milan, Bologna, Monza and Parma, have all scored 2 goals against Inter this year. So it can be done. So I do like the look of a Bayern draw no bet here for Bayern to maybe get something from it. That's 186, but I think Bayern Munich, they have a 28.1% chance of qualifying for the semi, the highest of any team who lost their first leg. 4.1% chance to win it all, and I got it right in the last round saying that PSG would come back and knock out Liverpool, so I'm going to do the same. Bayern Munich are going to come back and knock out Inter in this one. Bayern Munich qualify 332.
Well, if you are looking for a comeback in this show, of course, this is the most likely, also the closest result that we saw in the first leg. Of course, Inter favorite. But as you can see in the odds, the bookies give some credit to Bayern Munich, and even for a comeback, as Ronan was pointing out, 3.4 to qualify, and Ronan is going for these odds. And the last one is Real Madrid Arsenal here. When we listen the final whistle, Real Madrid to qualify was like 8, 9, and then all the mystic about the Bernabeu, the comebacks, the remontadas, and the odds are going down and down. Now Real Madrid to qualify 6.0. But it's very difficult as a Madridista to believe in a comeback because throughout the season, the team is not giving in any resources or any reasons to believe in a comeback. The stars are not working. We saw at the weekend even 𝐿𝐵appé losing his mind and seeing a red card. Vinicius is really bad. Rodrigo is even worse. 𝐿𝐵appé is out, suspended. The defense is leaking. So give me some ideas, Ronan. Why should I be optimistic and take these odds of 6.0 to qualify for Real Madrid?
If the odds were 51 like Borussia Dortmund were, I might be tempted to take those, but 6.0 doesn't really give me too much confidence, because the odds don't really reflect this game's status at the moment, because Real Madrid haven't scored against Arsenal before in the Champions League. So yeah, they have to do something they've never done before. But Real Madrid obviously have had comebacks before. We know in their history they've had comebacks. They've came from 3 goals down to beat 𝐴𝐵𝐶𝐿 County in the European Cup back in 1975-76. So it can be done. They lost 4-1 at the baseball ground as 𝐴𝐵𝐶𝐿 played back then. They won 5-1 at home. They did it in the UEFA Cup twice in the 1980s against Anderlecht and Borussia Mönchengladbach. So it can be done. But history would also tell us that in the Champions League, it doesn't really happen that often. 47 times there's been a team that have been 3 or more goals down after the first leg. Only 4 times there have been comebacks in those matches. Deportivo La Corona against AC Milan in 03-04, Barcelona against PSG, that one that we all remember, Roma against Barcelona the following year, and then the year after that, Liverpool against Barcelona. So yeah, Barcelona, if Barcelona are involved, there might be a comeback, but anyone else, it doesn't seem to happen too often. The only thing is that those games that I mentioned where Real Madrid have been 3 goals down after the first leg, they've always won the second leg. So I think that's where you have to look at the value here. And like I joked earlier, Real Madrid seem to have some sort of pact with the Champions League gods. So there's always a possibility there could be a penalty in this game for Real Madrid. So Real Madrid to score a penalty are 5. Kylian Mbappe is the man back on penalties. He's been confirmed back as the penalty taker now. He scored 6 of 8. I said in the first leg he might score a penalty if he gets to take one. Anytime goal score for him is 2.05. But I don't think Real Madrid are going to score 4 goals here or win 4-0 or come back against Arsenal. Stranger things have happened, but I think Real Madrid can win it. It just probably won't be enough. So Real Madrid win is 170, but even bigger than that, I think they will try and get the goals on the score sheet early to put a lot of panic on Arsenal and cause problems for Arsenal and doubts in the Arsenal players. So Real Madrid to win the first half is 220. I really like to look at that one.
I really like Luis' comment, Real to qualify and 𝐵appé hat trick. I also remember a game between Real Madrid and Dortmund. Dortmund beat Real Madrid 4-1 with Lewandowski scoring a poker, and they were this close to qualify, Real Madrid 2-0, but they ended up losing. Have you checked Alain Rice to score from a free kick? How much does it pay?
Yes, I don't check because the miracle are not coming 2 times. It took in the first leg, but in the second leg I don't saw that. I'm so sorry for Declan Rice, and I am really upset with Declan Rice because I dream about he choose the island and he was playing for England, and that one is really bad. And now, yes, Ronan said. Okay, the last comeback with 3 goals was in the 80s, in the middle of the 80s. The probability to Real Madrid can be start to make problem and generate doubt to Arsenal is scoring fast in the game, and for that reason. In the match plan of Ancelotti, probably the pressure will be really high, really hard to go to pressure with 5-6 players, and that one means open a lot of space for Arsenal. And Arsenal in transition feel really comfortable. Especially the winger is the part of the game where they're more comfortable. Trossard is playing a really good level. Martinelli, Saka is always every player have that skills in transition, and for that reason, my question is: Real Madrid will be scoring the first half, or Arsenal in transition will be surprised Real Madrid? And for that reason, I choose goals in the first half over 1.25 goals in the first half, odds 2.07.
Well, Real Madrid to win, but won't qualify if the attackers don't help in defense. This is not happening the whole season. Actually, they are completely disconnected. By the way, Thomas Partey is doubtful. Probably he's gonna miss this game. So Trossard, as Alain was saying, might participate, and Mikel Merino drop a little bit to the midfield. Hendrik needs to play this game. Also, another thing that is not gonna happen, 100% sure, because he is not playing any game, not even in Vitoria on Sunday. In La Liga, well, Real Madrid thinking about the remontada, as so is Aston Villa, Bayern Munich, or Dortmund. Very, very difficult. But I guess it's easier to win this money with Oddspedia. And if you play in our tipster competitions going on, there you go. All the open ones is very easy to participate, and it's for free. And also you have open our tipster competitions with rivals, and you can create your own customized tipster competition. There you go. Let's go with your safe bets and ACCA. Alain Valnegri's ACCA was correct in the last Champions League video. So Alain, credit to you. Let's start with you. Safe bet?
Inter to qualify, odds 1.32.
I am sure Ronan disagrees with this safe bet. Ronan?
Yeah. I'm not going to go for Bayern Munich to qualify as my safe bet. I'll go for something a bit safer, perhaps. Dortmund, Barcelona over 2.5 goals. I'll go for 145.
And the ACCAs, guys?
Let's go first.
Yeah, go.
Ronan, ACCA?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, PSG to win and Real Madrid to win at 369.
I froze for a moment. And Alain, your ACCA?
Dortmund with a handicap 1.5, 1.50. Inter Bayern over 0.75 goals in second half, and Real Madrid Arsenal over 0.75 goals in the first half, or total 3.13.
All right, Asian handicaps in Alain's ACCA. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Alain. Good luck to everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.